Doris Day died with a secret that only one person knew. For 97 years, America's sweetheart carried the burden of the betrayal that shaped her life. On April 5, 1968, the night her husband Martin Melcher died, Doris discovered that her $20 million fortune was gone. Contracts had been signed in her name without her knowledge, debts had piled up, and her entire financial world collapsed in a single evening. It was a truth her closest friend guarded in silence for decades, until the story finally came to light. What emerged was a tale of hidden documents, shady deals, and a phone call that came too late. Doris's journey began far away from Hollywood glamour. She was born Doris Mary Kappelhoff on April 3, 1922, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Her father, William, was a choir master and music teacher, and her mother, Alma, kept the family together at home. Money was scarce, but music was everywhere. Doris grew up surrounded by German-American traditions, singing in choirs and entering local talent shows. Even as a little girl, she stood out for her discipline and determination, qualities that would carry her through both triumph and heartbreak. At just 14, Doris's ambitions came alive when she began dancing with her partner Jerry Doherty. The two entered a Cincinnati talent contest and won the $500 prize worth more than $9,000 today. Flush with confidence, they dreamed of heading west to Hollywood. Doris believed her life would be on stage as a dancer, but fate had other plans. At 15, tragedy struck. Riding in a car that was hit by a train, Doris suffered a shattered leg. The injury ended her dancing career before it had even begun. For months she lay bedridden, her dreams gone. But in that quiet darkness, another dream was born. Listening to Ella Fitzgerald on the radio, Doris realized she wanted to sing. She poured herself into voice lessons, turning the accident that nearly ended her future into the spark of a new destiny. Her big break came when bandleader Barney Rapp heard her sing. He loved her voice, but thought her last name, Kappelhoff, was too long for show business. Inspired by the song Day After Day, Doris took the name Doris Day. Soon she was singing with Bob Crosby's band, then with Les Brown's Band of Renown, where she became a sensation. Les Brown called her the perfect singer, clear, thoughtful, and unpretentious. During World War II, Doris's voice became a source of comfort to millions of Americans. In 1945, her recording of Sentimental Journey became an anthem for soldiers returning home. It soared to #1 and stayed in the charts for nearly half a year. Her follow-up hit, My Dreams Are Getting Better All the Time, sealed her reputation as the voice of a generation. Hollywood soon came calling. In 1946, Warner Brothers signed her to a film contract. By 1948, Doris made her screen debut in Romance on the High Seas. Audiences instantly fell in love with her warmth, her beauty, and her effortless voice. She wasn't just another starlet, she was real, and that authenticity made her a star. Through the 1950s, she dominated musicals and comedies, bringing joy to millions. Films like My Dream Is Yours, It's a Great Feeling, On Moonlight Bay, and Lullaby of Broadway showcased her talents and built her reputation as Hollywood's golden girl. Then came Calamity Jane in 1953, the role she later admitted was her favorite. A tomboy at heart, Doris found herself perfectly suited to the brash, gun-toting, but tender-hearted Jane. The film's hit song Secret Love won an Academy Award and became a quiet anthem for people seeking acceptance. A few years later, Alfred Hitchcock revealed another side of Doris in The Man Who Knew Too Much. As a mother fighting to save her kidnapped son, Doris delivered one of her most powerful performances. When she sang Q Sira, it was no mere tune, it was a mother's cry wrapped in melody. The song won the Oscar for Best Original Song and became her lifelong signature. Her chemistry with Rock Hudson cemented her place in Hollywood history. Starting with Pillow Talk in 1959, their playful, daring comedies challenged social norms while delighting audiences. Doris earned her only Oscar nomination for that role, and the film was later preserved in the National Film Registry, alongside legends like Clark Gable, James Cagney, Cary Grant, and even Ronald Reagan, Doris proved she could hold her own with the biggest names of her era, but behind the glittering career was a private life filled with pain. At just
There were no
19,
bruises,
Doris married
but her trust was
trombonist
shattered.
Al Jordan. Almost immediately, the marriage turned into a nightmare of abuse. Jordan beat her, humiliated her in public, and even threatened her life. When Doris became pregnant, he demanded an abortion and violently tried to force one. Against all odds, she gave birth to her only child, Terry, in 1942. By 1943, with her mother's help, she escaped the marriage. Her second husband, saxophonist George Weidler, was unfaithful and walked out after only a few years, leaving Doris. Heartbroken again, her third marriage, to film producer Martin Melcher, seemed to promise stability. He adopted Terry, managed her career, and became her partner in every sense, but what looked like devotion was control. For 17 years, Melcher signed contracts, forced Doris into films she didn't want, and spent her money without limits. When he died suddenly in 1968, Doris discovered the devastating truth. Her $20 million fortune was gone, and she was left in debt. To her shock, Melcher had even signed her to star in the Doris Day Show for CBS without her knowledge. Forced to work in television to pay her bills, Doris carried on with grace, even as grief and betrayal weighed heavily on her. Determined to fight back, Doris sued her longtime lawyer, Jerome Rosenthal, in 1969. The legal battle stretched for over a decade, filled with drama worthy of a film itself. Rosenthal hid records, locked file rooms, and played every dirty trick possible. Finally, in 1974, after 99 days in court, Doris won a judgment of $20.8 million, the largest civil award in California at the time. Yet years of appeals and legal maneuvering meant she recovered only $6 million. By then, the damage was done, but Doris had proven her strength. Her final marriage, to restaurant maître d' Barry Comden, was tender. At first he wooed her by saving scraps of meat for her dogs, but ultimately failed. Comden complained that Doris loved her animals more than him, and by 1982, they divorced. From then on, Doris gave her heart fully to animal welfare. She founded the Doris Day Animal Foundation and the Doris Day Animal League, working tirelessly to rescue, shelter, and protect animals across the country. Even in her 90s, she campaigned for spay and neuter programs, humane laws, and pet-friendly shelters. The greatest heartbreak of her life came in 2004, when her only son, Terry Melcher, died of cancer at age 62. Terry had been a gifted producer, working with the Byrds and the Beach Boys, and was even once associated with Charles Manson until Doris, sensing danger, urged him to move. His death devastated her, and with no family left, she poured everything into her animals and her charities. Doris Day passed away peacefully on May 13, 2019, at the age of 97. True to her humble nature, she requested no funeral, no memorial, and no grave marker. Instead, she wanted people to honor her by helping animals in need. Her legacy lives on, not just through her unforgettable songs and films, but through the countless lives, human and animal, she touched with her kindness. Her life was never the picture-perfect image Hollywood painted. It was filled with pain, betrayal, and heartbreak. Yet through it all, Doris Day remained a symbol of joy and resilience. She was America's sweetheart, yes, but also a survivor, an advocate, and a woman who turned suffering into strength. And perhaps her greatest secret was this: beneath the bright smile and golden voice was someone who never stopped fighting for love, for truth, and for the creatures who needed her most.